All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. We're back with another video, and this time it's best of the box sets. This is the long box format. I believe this is part 8, and I think we'll have one more part after this, and then we'll be done with the long box format, and we'll take a look at something else if you're if you're still with us. So these are CD box sets, a long box format, meaning the idea of the CDs in jewel cases in long boxes, in cardboard long boxes, predominant through the 90s, early 2000s, that sort of thing. So let's get right to it. I was just playing this the other day. Really enjoyed listening to a Journey Time, or Time to the Power of 3, meaning 3 CDs on this particular box set. This came out in 1992 on Sony. I really enjoyed listening to some of the early Journey on here. So this is a really nice overview. Just a 3 CD box set. There's a lot of bonus tracks on here, songs that weren't released, or longer versions of some of the songs that weren't released. But it was really nice hearing like tracks from Journey, also from Next, and then you get into Infinity and Evolution, of course, with the Steve Perry years. This also includes some of the extra tracks like Only the Young, the single from Vision Quest, and Ask the Lonely, which was from the soundtrack of Two of a Kind. So, Journey, 3 CD box set, and as I mentioned with this series, I'm not going to take too long looking at the booklet. Pretty serviceable booklet. I do like generally the Journey artwork. And this is a nice box set because you really see the progression from their early days with long drawn out songs, and then becoming much more of a pop rock group with Steve Perry. But Neil Schon and certainly initially Greg Rowley, great musicians. Okay, so the CDs are simply housed inside like this. So we'll take a look at disc 1. And the great Journey artwork here. Okay, there's disc 1, and then disc 2. And disc 3. All right. And if you swing on over to the Vinyl Orchard, Chris at the Vinyl Orchard really does a nice spotlight on Journey. It's one of his fairly recent videos, and it shows a lot of Journey albums, and it's definitely worth checking out. So check out Chris at the Vinyl Orchard. Okay, interesting for a band like the Byrds. I'm pretty sure this was one of the first, at least CD box sets on the Byrds. It's interesting that they went with such a black case, considering the psychedelic colors of the Byrds, especially with some of their albums. But they went with a very straightforward case for this. So this is on Columbia Legacy, and this is one of the ones with Columbia. Often for Columbia box sets, they would have the lid simply attached, but still the same idea. So we've got the booklet inside with the CDs in here, and yeah, I'm just trying to figure out when because there's nothing on the case that says when this came out. I'm pretty sure this was a 90s release. No, I'm not getting a date. 1990, in fact. So there we go. Back to a little bit of color. And yeah, not a great booklet considering this band, but at least it's a 4 CD box set, which is worthy of the Byrds. Now, there's been many Byrds box sets in subsequent years. It's interesting with this. I do always like the timelines, but for this one, you'd think that they would have had the timeline as a fold out from the book. It's on these individual pages, so it's kind of hard to, if you want to go back and see. It's a very strange way they did that, but as I say, not a terrific booklet, but serviceable, and very nice music, of course, on this. And it's interesting for this, it's not CD1, CD2. They simply have just different titles for each one. So the first one is We Have Ignition, and it's the Byrds. So much great music on here. And pretty straightforward, nothing on the back of the sleeves, and then on Columbia Legacy. So We Have Ignition, and then we're at Cruising Altitude, carrying on the flight theme. And yeah, just pretty straightforward for the disc. And again, 1990, fairly early in the whole box set kind of thing. And then we have Full Throttle, I believe, next one. I've got these in the right order. And then we have Final Approach. Okay, and yeah, I'm just going to double check if I had those in the right order. We have Ignition, Cruising Altitude, Full Throttle, and Final Approach, and it's got some bonus live stuff from a Roy Orbison tribute and some newer recordings at the time. So a nice box set, but again, for the Byrds, at least they've definitely had their celebrations in terms of box sets and retrospectives and complete album releases, that sort of thing. Okay, let's warm things up, get away from this chilly weather with Cowabunga the Surf box. Unfortunately, I put the hype sticker right on the box. I'm kind of regret doing that, but this is called the Definitive Collection of Surf Music, 82 tracks and 4 CDs, including classics. Of course, Dick Dale is featured on here along with Beach Boys, Safari, Jan and Dean. And this is another great Rhino box set from 1996. Rhino were so great in their creative box sets, especially through the 90s. And giving, heads up to a lot of genres that do get kind of sidelined or forgotten about, much like surf music. So it's divided 1960 to 63 groundswells, big waves 1963, ebb tide 63 to 67, and then new waves 1977 to 1995. So at the time, this was new music, or at least fairly recent music. Okay, and it's a fun box set, and you got that inside, and then the CDs housed in sort of a red case like that. I'll just put that here. And it's kind of like a silver tone through this, or silver sort of gray tone through this, surprisingly. You think it'd be a lot more color, but quite nice. There's an interesting pullout. It's an odd one. Mentioning the pullout that should have been on that Byrds box set, but it's kind of like a poster. If you know your surfers, these are some of the top or legendary surfers over the years. Yeah, so all things surf on this. And there you go. There's the rest of that. So let's take a look at the CDs housed in here like that. And so we've got Set 1 Groundswell. And always loved Dick Dale. Just love Dick Dale. Big Waves. Might be hearing the garbage truck in the background there. Okay, and then Set 3, Ebb Tide. And nice with the CDs. Man, they fill them up nicely. Because certainly through this, they weren't worried necessarily about or concerned with LP vinyl releases, especially through the mid-90s. So each of the CDs, they're filling them up quite nicely. Yeah, just a really nice presentation. For what's a fun genre. It's a genre I don't listen to like all the time, but when summertime comes around, when you get some of the Beach Boys music out, it's fun to listen to. I really do like surf music, and I always thought because Keith Moon particularly, I think along with John Entwistle, were also fans of surf music, and it would have been interesting if they actually would have pursued that maybe a little bit more as kind of a side project or a solo kind of thing. It would have been fascinating what music they would have produced. Okay, here's a big box set. This is the Mercury Blues and Rhythm Story, 1945 to 1955. An absolutely beautiful box set. At first glance, it looks like a 4 CD box set. It is actually 8 CDs, because each CD or each jewel case has 2 CDs included. So we have disc 1 and 2 is Midwest Blues, disc 3 and 4 is Southwest Blues, disc 5 and 6 West Coast Blues, and not to be left out, disc 7 and 8 is East Coast Blues. And this spotlights the Mercury Records years. So this one has very much more of a kind of a jazz, a big band feel to the blues. You got folks like Dinah Washington. You got that there. I'll just put that here for now. The really nice booklet that's included. Extensive, beautiful artwork throughout, spotlighting so many wonderful, great artists. Okay, I do love this, some of the Mercury labels through the years. So there's that, and a really nice presentation to the discs. Just beautiful artwork, and again, as I mentioned, interesting that they're not fat boxes or anything like that, or what was called that format or style of CD cases. By the way, this came out in 1996 on Mercury Records. So this is disc 1 and 2 of Midwest Blues. So like that, and then it's always, this is the funny thing with these double CDs. I kind of like more the slimmer cases like this, but then it's like, okay, do I open it here or do I open it here? And then you do the little tugging. This one you open it that way, and Mercury label there. But there's always that guessing of which way it's going to open. So that's disc 1 and 2, disc 3 and 4. Again, just beautiful artwork, lovely presentation. Like that and that. Whoops. And then finally, discs 7 and 8, East Coast. And there you go. Again, just a lovely box set featuring the Mercury label. Blues and rhythm. Okay, and knock on wood, no strange noises opening up some of these box sets, which tends to happen. It's something about the plastic and the cardboard together. Okay, let's carry on. How about 40 years of Tony Bennett, the great Tony Bennett, still going strong, I'm telling you. There is no stopping Tony Bennett. So this is a really nice Columbia Legacy overview, 40 years artistry of Tony Bennett. Again, you can see all the track listings there. And again, this carries on with the Sony Columbia where the lid is attached. Very nice booklet in the CDs. Whoops, the CDs housed inside like that. We'll take a look at those in just a couple minutes. Or a few moments, I should say. Very nice book. Excellent tribute to Tony Bennett. He's had such a long career and still going. And still sounding great, too. If you've seen any of his fairly recent stuff or heard any of his fairly recent albums, he's still sounding great. The one, the only, Tony Bennett. Yeah, really nice booklet. Really nice booklet. And the CDs and lots of great music. Volume 1. And the only thing with this, they don't have anything on the back here. I would have taken these pictures and maybe put them on the back and then left this for the writing on the back, because it is a little bit hard to read that, and then when it's just blank like this, it doesn't quite make sense. But that's what they thought of doing at the time. Yeah, it just makes it a little difficult to read. And boy, remember when Tony Bennett really kind of made a big comeback with that MTV Unplugged special. That was absolutely huge, and that really put him back in the spotlight, and it's been no going back ever since. Really enjoy a lot of Tony Bennett's duet discs, particularly with Katie Lang. But what a great artist. What a great artist. Okay, Tony Bennett. And this was on Columbia Legacy, and see if I can find the year that this came out for you. This came out in 1991. Okay, let's carry on. Boy, when you talk about box sets, when this came out, absolutely huge. Robert Johnson, the Complete Recordings 2 compact disc. Again, this is on Columbia. The Columbia Legacy series as part of their Big Blues reissue. But boy, when this came out, this sold so well that I think the music industry just went, what? We can repackage these great old blues classics and people will buy them? Absolutely. So this is a wonderful box set to introduce you to the incredible world of Robert Johnson and other blues artists of this genre. Now, this includes a lot of the alternate takes. This really is the complete recordings. They have since reissued this on various configurations. I think one is the Centennial Edition or Centennial Collection that actually sound better even than these recordings. Again, these are rough raw recordings from back in the day, back in the 30s, but they've actually even improved the sound since this box set. But this was the box set that kind of started it all, and this came out in, was it 1990? And unfortunately, one time my booklet's water damaged for whatever reason. I think I vaguely recall a vase knocking over with flowers and the water went everywhere. And it's just, yeah, so it's a little bit on the back, a little watermarked. Serviceable book. Again, obviously, there's not really very many photos of Robert Johnson for sure, but they just simply include all the lyrics, but not extensive. And then it tells you about some of the other artists in the Roots and Blues series, like Big Bill Brunsey, Willie Dixon, Lonnie Johnson, Legends of Blues, and then they did different themes for some of the releases. And then simply a 2-disc set, because there's not a lot of music for Robert Johnson for sure. And okay, there we go. So there's disc 1. I thought we were going to get a great box set sound there of me pulling the jewel cases out of the plastic holder there. And these booklets are not extensive, but that tells you some of the other ones in the series. If you do come across these CDs, in the used section, pick them up because they're really terrific. And disc 2. So much great music. And yeah, there's some of the other discs. I have a few of these discs. Unfortunately, I didn't pick them up all at the time, but I do have a few of those discs. Maybe we'll spotlight them on some blues CDs. Okay, how about Bobby Darin? My goodness, this is a great box set. As long as I'm singing the Bobby Darin collection, what an amazing artist. This came out in 1995. Again, another great Rhino release from 1995. Spotlighting quite the versatile artist, because, I mean, he's always remembered for Splish Splash, but, you got the rock and roll years, but then also the pop years, or the kind of the crooner years, and then into the folk and country years. So that's how they divide this 4-disc set. And here's an artist where you think, well, maybe a 2-disc set would have been fine. But yeah, let's do a 4-disc compilation for Bobby Darin. Yeah, really nice. Again, Rhino release, and it just pops out like this. Very nice booklet. Nice treatment overall. Like, really spotlighting a great artist. And talk about another artist who gets kind of sidelined or forgotten about through the years. Again, generationally, we are, further and further getting away from the rock and roll years. Okay, there you have that. I'll just put that here, and then really nice box set. So let's take a look at the rock and roll years, of course, featuring one of the first track is Early in the Morning, but then the second track, of course, is Splish Splash. And just with the credits there, so there's disc 1, and then we have disc 2, which is the Pop Years Part 1, kicking it off with Mac the Knife, Beyond the Sea. I think it was Dick Clark who said Bobby Darin was one of his favorite artists because Bobby Darin was so versatile. Pretty sure Dick Clark had said that. More of the pop years, or you can say the crooning years. Okay, and then a different look for Bobby Darin as we get into the folk and country years with You're the Reason I'm Living. And it's interesting, an artist like Daron, who went through kind of similar changes, not so much the crooning years for an artist like Daron, but similar, especially when the music was changing. And when we're getting into the 60s from the 50s, I mean, there was a lot of that country, or not country, but folk stuff that was happening at the time. Okay. And yeah, let's see if we can get in one or two more. How about a beautiful box set, Ray Charles. And this is Ray Charles Genius and Soul, the 50th Anniversary Collection, a 5-disc set. So you get a disc for each decade, and well-deserved. This is on Rhino with 1997 release, and just a beautiful presentation for this box set. And it opens up like this, and I put the hype sticker on the inside. 5 decades of masterpieces from the master of American music. And box sets like that. And what's really nice about this booklet, they have it on Braille on this side. I don't know if you can see that. I thought that was quite nice. Just a beautiful paper, beautiful quality paper. Great write-up, nice presentation. They went with kind of the two-tone coloring, but overall really nice. And just a beautiful presentation to the discs. I haven't come across too many box sets that have such a nice, really nice look to the jewel cases. Just beautiful. Here's disc 1, and then carrying on disc 2. Like, so nice, so well deserved. You know, if you're going to spotlight Ray Charles, you're going to do it right. Okay, and then disc 3. Oops. Okay, and then we have disc 4. Love the way they really focus on the piano. And then disc 5. Yeah, beautiful box set, and it's even it's not just typical plastic. It's kind of like the plush, velvety background there. Very nice, well deserved. Okay. And maybe we'll sneak in just one more. We've got Rock, Rhythm, and Doo-Wop, the greatest songs from early rock and roll. This is, again, another Rhino release from 2001, though, on this one. And this was spotlighting with PBS, when they would often do specials spotlighting rock and roll. And this one, no exception. So this is a 3-disc set. Spotlighting, again, great early rock and roll. Again, you're not going to see too many box sets like this anymore, because they just don't seem to, be featuring, the great rock and roll years. So 3-disc set, and just pops out like this, and I put the hype sticker up here. This features Bobby Darin, Four Seasons, Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly. It's pretty much all the hits here. You're not getting any, rare or obscure stuff on here. But this is celebrating the one of the many PBS specials. It was interesting with PBS, certainly at the time, they were doing a lot of oldies, rock and roll shows, trying to get some of the artists still around, performing, that sort of thing. This one included a Rhino ad for the Neville Brothers Best of as well. So, okay, there you have that. Serviceable booklet. And let's take a look at the discs. Again, just a 3-disc set. So I got disc 1. And yeah, this is, it's hit after hit on this one. Rhino's also done some great 50s box sets that really feature obscure tracks, rare tracks. This one you're looking at the hits. But that's okay. And disc 3. Yeah, as I say, nice presentation. Okay, so there you have Rock, Rhythm, and Doo-Wop, the greatest songs from early rock and roll, over 60 tracks featuring some absolutely wonderful artists. Okay, that's just about going to wrap it up for this one. There'll be one more edition, I think. I'm just going to do a special shout out for these box sets that are kind of like in the long box format, but don't really fit because they're not in jewel cases. But I always just enjoy showing these. So this is the Beatles, the Capitol album. So these are the U.S. Capitol releases, volume 1 and 2. And that includes both stereo and mono versions on each disc, which I thought was, some don't like that. I thought it was nice to include both of them on each disc. But such an interesting presentation. So the discs come out like this, sort of like the long box sleeve format. And then for volume 1, have I got the right one? Yeah, for volume 1, they had it like this, where the booklet's on this side, and then all the discs are in this side, as you can see. And again, it's full stereo and mono for each disc. But then for volume 2, carrying on the nice look for this, and then slipping out like this. But then for volume 2, it opens up in the center instead of the other way around, if you will. Like this one opens this way, and this one opens up in the center. So again, you have the booklet on one side and then the discs on the other. But I thought that was really odd, unusual. I mean, the same yet different. There you go. So there's Capitol Records Volume 1 and Volume 2, which is always enjoyable to listen to. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you so much for dropping by. And of course, we will chat again soon. And do take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.